There it is.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wheel Talks. It's finally here. Episode 1. Can't be more excited to be here with you, brother. It's been a long time coming.
Can't be more excited, blessed, and this is going to be a great opportunity to really get our word out there.
You know, I'm your host, Marty O'Connor, alongside my buddy,
Sonny Casebauer, and we're ready to bring you some Wheel Talks with Wheel Guys.
and Wheel Conversations, just talking about wheel life. You know what we do.
That's right.
So-
First off, we wanted to say thank you to our sponsor, Zappos Adaptive. They're doing some really cool things right now. Basically, they're trying to work with bigger brands to start a line that is more adaptable for people with disabilities of all different shapes and sizes. I mean, it's really interesting. And if you're curious about it, just take a look. We'll have more details in more episodes, but if you have a chance, please check out Zappos Adaptives. They're really doing some big things.
It's critically important to have clothes that work for everybody. I know how hard it is for me to put on a suit jacket, even pants sometimes, because I like that slim fit life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would still want to look good, you know. And if it's too much of a struggle, you try and avoid those things. But whatever. I know Zappos Adaptive is at the forefront of this, and we look forward to working with them and hopefully getting everybody, you know, G'd up from the feet up.
Yeah, if you look at me and Marty, the one thing we don't sacrifice is our clothes. No matter what condition we're in, we're always going to be fly and ready to go.
You know, sorry. You know, that's what we do.
So we got a pretty cool episode for you guys. We're going to make it a two-parter. First part, though, we want to get into some of the dirt and some of the things that makes Marty O'Connell. You know what I mean? O'Connell. Well, I just totally
Nice to
messed
meet
up
you,
your
bro.
name. Yeah.
Nice to meet you,
Yeah,
man.
there's a new guy here.
Hey,
Yeah, my
yeah,
bad.
we brought
Kush,
him in.
Kush.
Yeah, the other co-host couldn't make it today, so we got this filling guy
Oh,
coming
man.
in.
My bad. Marty O'Connor. My bad. I
love you.
apologize
I know
for
you
that.
love me. It's okay.
Yeah. But we want to get into some of his story so all of our new fans out there can get a kind of behind the scenes look at what really you're all about and where you came from and what makes you you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Looking forward to we just want you guys to be able to know who we are and, you know, what we're all about, because this podcast, we like to, you know, live by the slogan, empower, entertain, and always keep it real, you know? So
Absolutely.
we want to give you our backstories so you know where we're coming from, and then hopefully there's some things that you guys can relate from us. So ready to get into that with you. So, you know, fire away, brother. I'm ready for you.
Yeah, real quickly though, I want to get into the reason why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Which you touched on a little bit.
Totally.
Is that we want to be able to help other people. And we know with our obligations and everything we do all the time that it's not the easiest to always reach out to everybody individually. So we're hoping through this podcast, whether you have a disability, whether you're in a wheelchair, whether you're walking, running, whatever you're dealing with, we're hoping through this podcast we could help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Not all voices are heard, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, especially with a lot of disabilities and things that are out there, especially within the spinal cord injury community, the numbers aren't there, so they don't get, you know, all of the donations and the fundraising that other, you know, terrible traumatic things do, you know. But and this isn't just for spinal cord injuries. This is for something for everybody. But everybody struggled, you know, no matter what walk of life you come from, you know, where you're going, you know, there's things that, you know, I feel like my experience I can bring to the table for these people, and I know you feel the same way.
Absolutely.
And we just want to be able to help you guys out. So anytime that, you know, you're listening and there's something that you just want answered or something that you're just curious about, feel free to reach out to us. You know, DM us on the Instagram at Wheel Talks Official.
Yes.
We want to be here for you guys. We want to, you know, bring awareness. You know, we want, you know, to be, you know, advocates, activists, whatever you guys need us to be. We want to be that for you, and, you know, have some fun while we're doing it. Because, you know, me and this guy, you know,
that's all we do.
We've overcome this shit, and
Yes.
you know, we don't want to let anything hold us back. We don't want anything to hold you guys back. And we're here to tell you guys the things that we've done to get to where we are today.
Yeah.
And the way, just really how we have the mindset we do. So, ready to,
Are you ready to do this?
Ready to do this.
Are you ready to answer these 2020 Barbara Walters questions right now?
Bring it on, Barb.
All right. So everybody always, I feel this, they always they don't see us before the wheelchair. They always see us after. Most of the people we're encountering this nowadays, because we're putting ourselves out there a lot more than we did before. Mm-hmm. So for those, I really want people to really get to know who you were before you were in the wheelchair. Mm-hmm. So what was Marty growing up? Who was Marty before he got hurt? What was that guy all about?
Life in the fast lane, man. Honestly, since the time I was a young kid, it was always about just beat my friends at anything that we were doing.
Highly competitive?
Highly competitive. You know, everything was always a race. Everything was always about finishing first. You know, basically it was just being the best at everything,
Yeah.
you know, and that was about it. And I took, you know, obviously sports were a major contributor to that. Always did everything. I started with swimming and soccer, and then you got, you know, football, baseball, basketball, and, you know, if I didn't make the all-star team, then that was a failure, and all those things. I was always super hard on myself, and you know, I kind of took that mentality moving forward. You know, whether it was through middle school and high school, and, you know, trying to be the best version of myself there, and getting into some new things. Like I took up action sports in high school, and snowboarding became just the love of my life.
Which I find interesting because where did you grow up? What city?
Grew up here in Orange, California.
And for people who don't know, there is no snow or really mountains in this area.
I know it's funny you say that, man. So I mean, I didn't grow up with older brothers. I have 3 older sisters, man, and like, you know, I had, you know, my oldest sister Lauren actually took me up to the mountains, and I just like fell in love with it. I got, you know, the Resistance, the Forum snowboards, their video, Mac Dog Productions. Anyone that knows it, the real G's know, like that thing hooked me, man.
That's
and like
funny.
It was something I fell in love with, and like I ended up going up more and more, like each and every year. And even when there, you know, there's no snow down here, but, you know, I fell in love with like the rail game and the street game of snowboarding. So we go to the local ice skating rinks, have the Zamboni dump all the ice in our truck or shovel it ourselves. I'd set up handrails around town, man, and people would cops, no one would really know what to do because nothing says no snowboarding, no nothing on those. So like it was just something that I just dove, you know, head first in, and you know, I fell in love with it and did it in college. And
you're the baby. And you have 3 older sisters. Yeah. Okay. What was that like?
So, you know, again, being the sports guy that I am, you know, I think I would have liked an older brother to kind of kick my ass a little and like show me the ropes and like make me a better player and whatever. You know, like I didn't necessarily have that luxury. You know, I got, you know, but I benefited in other ways, you know, aside from being pinned down, getting
obviously they're friends. You must have went through this.
I'll touch on that.
Okay.
You know, just getting like pinned down, getting my eyebrows tweezed and dumb stuff like that, right?
Getting your fingernails painted.
Exactly, right? Getting dressed up like, what the hell? Like I was the preppiest kid, but you know, I knew how to treat a girl. Yeah. You know, and I knew how to dress. They would always you know, help me out with that, even though I was like the preppiest dude ever. Not necessarily like, you know.
But they know what girls want, though.
Hey,
so
you know,
that's a leg up.
Hey, I was doing all right. Yeah. I was doing all right.
Well, you're one of the handsomest guys I know, so you probably could have wore a garbage bag and still look good. So.
Close second to the guy to my left over here, screen right.
Meals on wheels, baby. Meals on wheels.
You know what we do. Anyways, man, no, it was super fun, and you know, I always benefited from, you know, having their guidance. You know, I loved having their friends around. Like, you know, I was always trying to schmooze on them, and you know, but I you know, I learned like, you know, how to be a good guy. And that's something I can't trade in for the world. You know, I had like great friends that I always played with and everything. So that's why I really like, you know, relished in the moments I was with my friends and playing sports and doing all that. But otherwise, man, I can't complain. It wasn't just my sisters. I have out of like 13 cousins, 11 of them are girls, and only 2 of them are younger than me, man. So
that's very.
I was like the baby with a bunch of estrogen floating around.
I've also noticed too, getting to know you over the years, you're pretty close with your mom too.
Very close. She's my girl. She's my girl, man, for sure. Especially, you know, like after I got hurt, you know, we've just become so close. There are a number of things. I mean, you know, just leaving her job to become my full-time caregiver, and you know, then going back to school together. We went back to Chapman University for me to go get my MBA, and she became my scribe. And, you know, just going through my gosh.
Just tell us what that means, though, because most people may not know that terminology, but she actually sat through every class with you and took notes with you. Yeah,
man. You know, it's not the first choice of a, you know, 29-year-old to go back to school, you know, with their mom. And, you know, it was something I just, you know, bit my lip and did it because I needed the help. There was so much work being done at home aside from, you know, what was being done in class. And so she would sit in on classes with me. You know, if I needed to answer something the teacher asked of the class, I'd have her raise her hand for me and just take my notes for me, and then
that's incredible.
Just studying for tests and you know, either turning pages if there wasn't a digital you know, version of the book that I could do, and just, you know, she was there in the trenches with me for 2 years, and you know, we became extremely close. And at the end of it, I was so glad that Chapman was so helpful in the fact that I could surprise her at graduation with an honorary MBA, which was just one of the most amazing moments, you know, for our whole family, just to be there and see that. So that was super cool, man. And I'm close with my entire family. I'm so blessed to have such, a great family
Yeah.
and people that have supported me so much
Really.
through all of this, and truly make me the man I am today.
Yeah.
So I can't say
I can definitely understand that because my family's been the same for me, and we'll touch on that in a later episode. But let's backtrack. Okay, so what were you like maybe leading up into your accident? What were you doing around the time of your accident, like a year or two? Like, what was your job? Were you in school? Like, what was going on in your life at that moment?
Yeah, man. I had just moved back to California from Utah.
Okay.
I got a baller sales job working at a packaging distribution company.
Okay.
Wasn't the industry I ever imagined myself getting into, but the company was amazing. The people were amazing. And I was living on the peninsula at Newport Beach,
Wow. Okay.
having a great time. I could go to work and then work all day and come home, take the tie off, and go throw a wetsuit on, go surf. Just go hang out with friends, whatever it is. And I was in a solid relationship at the time. Like, it seemed like I was at my peak.
Everything was kind of coming together for you.
Everything seemed to be coming together for me.
How old were you at that moment?
I was 24, and this
24.
was, look, my accident happened in August 2012. So, I mean, you can imagine just coming off of, being in college. I was on the snowboard team. I was a volleyball player, and I was working, super active all the time.
Yes.
And then everything just kind of came to a halt,
So let's get into that. So
Yeah.
You're 24 when you get hurt?
24.
Okay, so you're 24. Let's summarize this up. You're 24. You're extremely active in your life. You're surfing every day. You're snowboarding during the season. You're the only boy in your family, so you're probably doing all the boy stuff in your family, which is like helping them move, all the physical stuff. Like you're the man of the household, right? Besides you and your dad. And then at 24, you found yourself in a solid relationship. You have your career going, so you pretty much think life is all dialed in for you. You just got to just keep going ahead and everything's going to be perfect. You weren't spiraling out of control. You weren't being reckless. Everything was in front of you. And then what happened on that August 12th, 2012 day?
I can't say I wasn't reckless. I think I've always been that way, man.
Yeah.
But,
not reckless in the sense of like you had no major issues. You had no addictions. You weren't
right.
You were a 24-year-old guy living a 24-year-old, like what we would
I was living that
normal.
peninsula lifestyle, so I work all day and I work hard, play hard, It's just kind of the lifestyle that I was in. And leading up to that day, it was a really just a marathon of a day, honestly. And
did you have any weird omens going into it? Did you feel like anything was coming your way, or was it really just like,
no? But it was super weird.
Yeah.
So the most random thing I did the week of my accident, I decided to shave my head.
Wow.
Like, and that's not something that I would do because my hair was freaking
Samsonite, dude.
Luscious,
strength
bro.
in the hair.
It was
this is where we'll show the montage of your hair pics right here.
Yeah, hopefully
long,
we get some
luscious.
slow-mo,
Yes.
Good.
I know you got some old
there.
videos we can dig up for this montage right
Yeah, man. Cue the sexy music.
We'll
Behind
make sure
it.
Allie gets on that for sure.
Yeah, do that. It was just a weird thing. I just, for whatever reason, wanted to shave my head.
Yeah.
Which was just not something I would do, but like for whatever reason, and it seemed like this was something bigger than myself. Big, like that decision just seemed like it was like a new beginning, like a fresh, complete start.
Okay.
For me, but that wasn't obviously something I realized like going into it. You know, it's just something that happened, and so the accident itself started with a marathon of a day, man. Just I was out golfing and hot heat with my dad.
Yeah.
He was in town at the time, and then I went straight from there to a birthday party, straight from the birthday party to an Angels game, straight from the Angels game out to Newport. And I got home. Roommates are all pregame, and then we went out to the bars, and so I never stopped during the day, and it was just that I think that heat was just beating down on me, and wore me down without me realizing it. Just being healthy, active, the crazy guy that I was, I just kept going and going and going. But my body needed a break, and I didn't give it one. So when I was out at the bars, my body started kind of fading a little bit, getting a little woozy. So I went and got some pizza, sat down on a staircase in a back alley, and like after I was done, when I stood up, lights went out, and I think almost just fell forward. I don't know if I jumped forward to try and like somersault or something like that, but landed straight on top of my neck, and
cool.
that was it, man. And I actually didn't even end up going to the hospital till the next day. I had some friends throw me in a car, carry me.
Let's get that straight. So you fell forward, cracked your head. Like, did you crack your head open or anything like that?
There was, I like the day after, like when I actually ended up going to the hospital, there's
Yeah.
a big scab on top of my head.
So you actually cracked your head open, but just because of the long day, your friends probably thought you're just dehydrated or you're tired, or like they didn't really factor in the thought that maybe you had seriously injured yourself.
Right. Well, things were really blurry for me after I felt, right? Like I don't have a clear memory. I don't recall everything that happened, right? So I remember a few flashes. I remember a bunch of people being over me, talking. I don't know if there was pressure for me to get out.
Yeah.
Like if they just thought I was drunk or what.
Well, you're probably concussed too.
Probably concussed, and I remember flashes of people above me, and then I remember being in the car, and I remember getting carried up to my stairs, and then I remember just waking up the next day.
Like, what was that like? Like waking up the next day, yeah.
Oh,
Like,
so
could you not move? Like, what were you feeling at that moment?
So when I first woke up, it was just like, what the hell did I sleep on my living room floor for?
Yeah.
And
Get it out.
floor.
Yeah.
And it was almost laughable. It was like, okay, what the heck am I doing here? And then I'm like, wait, why can't I move? What's like, almost like, holy shit, I'm so tired, like, or I'm, hungover or what, like what? And it kind of starts setting in. You're like, wait, no, I actually can't. And you're like, what the heck?
Gosh.
And it's just like, as time goes on, it just gets sketchy and sketchier.
So how long after waking up did you actually, like, on your living room, how long was that before you actually called somebody, hey, something's seriously wrong?
I don't know exactly. I'm guessing it had to be, an hour or so, something like that. Like I had like a buddy like maybe pull me up against the couch and sit me up, and then like we got lifted up, and then we just started, kind of doing some stuff like, yo, wait, is something seriously wrong? Like,
oh my gosh.
And just checking my body out. And like, I can't feel what you're doing right now. And I
can't imagine.
And then that, like, the weight of that just like kind of starts crushing you. And like I just got scared. I got that really scared.
Feeling in your stomach.
Yeah. Your stomach just tightens. And, but I couldn't even feel it. So that was the weird thing. I couldn't feel anything. And so we made the decision, obviously, to call, the paramedics and, get out of there. And then I got put in surgery. And the next week I was a blur too, because I was drugged up from all the stuff.
You finally get to the hospital. They rush you through surgery. When was it when you finally got the diagnosis? And what was the diagnosis?
Yeah, so I go through and I, have surgery. I remember actually being in the machine getting an X-ray or an MRI on my neck, and I had to stay in there for 45 minutes. Those things you have to stay in forever,
which are creepy.
And I was supposed to stay still, and I don't know what they had given me or whatever, but I started throwing up, and I turned my head to the side and just started puking. And inside that small little machine, puking over the side, and had to start the damn thing over and go back in again.
For people who don't know, MRI machines, they're like a tunnel.
It's a tunnel.
It's a tunnel of death. Like you're just restricted. You're already going through like a situation where you can't move your limbs. And on top of that, you're dealing with like the side effects of maybe a concussion, dehydration,
the loud noise, crazy, So it wasn't cool, and so it ended up throwing up, and I had to start over. And honestly, I don't even recall like when
they told you.
They told me, like, because honestly, it was such a blur. I was on like coming out of anesthesia, then I was on meds, and then I was like painkillers and all of that. Yeah, and but they told me it was I was paralyzed from the neck down. It's a C3, C4 central spinal cord injury, which means it affects my upper body more than my lower, which is just crazy because there's so much independence in your upper body. And, we can get into that more at a later time. But, it didn't seem real because I was, Mr. Invincible. I'm the guy that, goes down freaking handrails on my snowboard, and I've fallen head over heels 100 times down those things.
And now you're a quadriplegic.
And now I'm quadriplegic. Like it didn't register with me, immediately. I'm like, I'm going to beat this, whatever. These doctors don't know anything. And it's just a wild ride, man. It's, it's heavy.
So when you got that diagnosis, was your mom there, your dad, your sisters, was everybody there in the room with you?
I think so. I know parents were there. My girlfriend at the time was there. And yeah, dude, it was just, it was a scary, scary feeling. And, but I think being the athlete that, I still consider myself, but especially the athlete I was, it didn't register with me. It was like, okay, I'm getting through this. I'm I'm going to dedicate myself to rehab. I could push harder than anyone I know. And, I'm going to get through this. Like, just all ego, all pride, just being like, yo, this isn't going to hold me back.
Nah, I'm not laughing. I think we're making our producer cry right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty tearful.
Oh.
So in the beginning, what were your biggest challenges after you got through your surgeries? How long were you in the hospital for?
Yeah, well, I think I was in acute care for about a month, and then transitioned to a rehab center for 3 months after that.
And where'd you rehab at? Casa Colina?
I was at Casa Colina.
Okay.
They were great people. I got 5 hours of therapy per day. The people at St. Jude where I did my acute care, absolutely amazing. But I really got to just impose my will on my physical therapy, and it was like it was something that was so hard to get used to because it was like exertion didn't matter. Like the stuff like my will and like my ability to try harder than anyone else and care more and just like put more into it. Yeah. It didn't matter because my body wasn't responding to what my mind wanted to do.
For me, I wonder if this is the same for you, but like I felt almost safer and more comfortable in the hospital because, like you said, we're putting in 5 hours a day. Yeah. When reality set in for me is when I got home. So when you finally made it home, what was that like, and what were some of the challenges you faced?
Yeah, I think just being the independent guy that I was, and really just like the way I could carry myself, the way that I handle myself at work, the work ethic that I had putting in. It was like now I'm completely relying on other people to help me out, and it just sucked. Like I hated asking for help, and I needed so much of it. Yeah. Not to mention all of the other fun stuff that we need to do just to get ready for the day was just it really overwhelmed me, and I've always been super hard on myself. That's one thing that I've been able to grow past, but something I struggled with, and it definitely transitioned when I got hurt.
What do you mean by that? Like you just were constantly judging yourself, constantly critiquing yourself? What do you mean by being hard on yourself?
I never accepted any sort of failure or something that I couldn't accomplish. I immediately had negative automatic thoughts. It's something that just set in for me where it's like, oh, you didn't do that? No, now I'm going to talk shit and make you feel terrible because you didn't accomplish something. And when really it's like, it was just a mindset that had clouded my mind for so long. Even before I got hurt, it was something that was really holding me back because I know, pushing through and like that failure is just teaching you a new way to do something. And, something I never embraced, and I never allowed myself, any sort of mistake. And, ask any coach throughout my sports career, that was just something they could resonate with. Like, I miss a serve, I'm going to go punch a wall, I'm going to cuss myself out, but I'm going to get back out there and do it again.
What I think is harder too is you're dealing with all these setbacks physically, emotionally, and then all of a sudden the relationships around you are changing as well. Like, can you touch on that a little bit too? Like, how did your friends react? How did your girlfriend at the time react? How did your family react? What were those relationships like?
Yeah, well, I think initially I was put in a state of denial because of the outpouring of support. Yeah. Whether it was my family, my friends, and my girlfriend at the time, her family, just amazing people. Everyone was there for me, and I was just constantly brought brownies and cupcakes and visits at the hospital, and it was all good. But then as time goes on, those things start fading away, and it's like, oh wait, Marty was the friend that I like to party with. He doesn't party anymore, so peace out, Marty. Yep. Or
you're
go
you're
surfing,
now
we
work
go do that. Yeah.
In order to bring you out, to take you out. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to transport you, how I'm going to get you out of the car. So now you're work.
People feeling uncomfortable. They think I'm work. So my friends were just kind of dwindling, and my relationship was great and solid for probably about a year. But I think just that first year, as well as I do, just how extremely difficult it is, and I think it just took its course on that relationship and ended up not working out. And after that was a dark period. Yeah. And that darkness, would eventually lead to some of the brightest moments of my life. But I had to wear that.
What do you think? Because through all the darkness, I'm sure you went through depression. I'm sure you were asking God why. Mm-hmm. When do you felt like you hit a turning point? Like when was that? What was that? And what did that look like?
Yeah. So that darkness lasted about 2 or 3 years, man. Honestly, it was tough. I would get through. I'd put on a good face when I was going out, but is something that I couldn't do anymore. I knew physical therapy and pushing myself in the gym wasn't the answer. And I was just fed up. I was fed up of doing the same thing over and over again. So I decided to, put myself back out there any way that I could to make me a better person mentally.
Was that a decision you just stumbled on, or was it like, did you wake up one day and you're like, look, I'm tired of waiting. I'm just going to go do this.
I honestly, I was so sick and tired of the same routine and the same results, and I wasn't advancing, and I thrive on winning.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to do the same thing over and over again, but it was the same thing I was doing before I got injured, and it wasn't leading anywhere. I couldn't reach my potential that way. So I had to work on my mind and my emotions in order to really grow as a person. So I decided to invest in those areas where I could. So I went back to school. I decided to pursue my MBA at Chapman University.
Nice.
I decided to see a therapist and start working on some of these demons that had just plagued me most of my life.
I just want to highlight those areas real quick, because so many people have issues out there. Mm-hmm. For you to go and actually seek help and talk to somebody about it, I give you a lot of kudos.
Thanks, man.
And not only that, you already had a degree. Mm-hmm. So you wanted to further your education. I mean, and you knew the mountain you had to climb because of what you had to deal with every day.
Yeah.
I mean, those are two things that I think a lot of people would they have so many excuses. You have more excuses than anybody I know. And for you to crush that is amazing. But what keeps you motivated every day?
Honestly, it's because I've been able to see potential that I never imagined even before I got hurt. And in this capacity, I know that, the sky's the limit and beyond that, so I'm motivated. I am motivated by my potential, and just seeing just how far I could take things, and whatever it is, what I'm doing today, just waking up in the morning and how I present myself, just seeing what I could do and how far I could push myself, that motivates me, because at the end of the day, I want to win. I want to be the best version of myself for myself and for those that I love. So
is there like a philosophy you subscribe to? Is there like something like you always like, okay, I'm having a shitty day, but I'm going to dig deep and this is what I'm going to pull from it? Like, is there a slogan you go by?
Yeah. Every day in this injury wears you down and just wants to punch you in the face. And, you just have to realize that, your circumstance is not your sentence. Think about that. Your circumstance is not your sentence. And the one thing that I truly like to live by is you can make your adversity your advantage.
Ooh.
That's something that, is near and dear to my heart. And it's something I truly believe. And it's something that, it's not just a slogan. It's something that I've lived through this process, because my transition through this whole process is, dude, I'm capable of more things and more potential now. And that's without using my hands. It's getting pushed around. It's having someone feed me. And it's just the power of the mind and your emotions. And that's something I really want to address with, everyone in the audience that's listening. I want to be able to help those people and help make that transition, and I don't have to go through something like this in order to do it. There's ways that we can, help you guys out, and, we want to be a part of it. So
with all that, what are you doing now? What are some of your goals now? Like, what's Marty's life today like?
Man, it's crazy these days. I was working in business development for an action sports company and had a intern who was a senior film student at Chapman, ended up doing her thesis film on me about my story. And it's had a lot of success. Yeah. It's called Relentless. You guys can check it out at relentless-film.com. We're going around to film festivals and doing showcases right now with that. Plan on taking it on tour this next year. So watch out for dates near you.
Oh, yeah.
Started a creative agency, which is super fun. I was a film major in college.
Nice.
Going back, getting my MBA in marketing and entrepreneurship. It all kind of comes full circle. Wanting to provide content.
What's the name of that company?
Yeah, that's MOCA. Okay. MOCA.
That's cool.
Marty O'Connor Creative Agency.
There we go.
Just like that.
I love it.
Just being able to take content, be able to tell people stories in a captivating way and help them or their business, capitalize on that. So I'm doing that. Currently writing a book, back in action.
Bro, do you ever sleep or what?
I try.
Damn, I try. Like a shark, always moving.
Thanks, man. It's been fun. I'm doing that. I'm managing my nonprofit, which we started after I got hurt, Marty O'Connor Foundation for Progress. This is like plug central right here.
Yeah,
mocprogress.org.
There's going to be so many plugs going up on the screen right now. It's going to be ridiculous.
Instagram at Marty O'Connor, with an OR. Might as well just can't stop. But no, honestly, I'm doing a lot of amazing things, and it's all because of the people that I've met in networking through Chapman University, through the International Executive Council, the IMA, Internet Marketing Association. All these people are helping me reach my potential. And, honestly, I believe this truly is like everyone should have a mentor and a protege. Look to those who have been there, done that, still doing it to like help you and help guide your path forward. But then you need to be able to pass that on. Yeah. It's a waste. It's a waste if you don't do anything.
My philosophy is I never want to be the smartest man in the room.
Never, dude. Never. There's always, there's people that are so talented, and it's about bringing those minds together and pushing forward in an effective way that can help the masses.
I'm okay being the best looking guy in the room, but definitely not the smartest. You know
exactly. I mean?
Yeah. You got to sacrifice somewhere.
It's hard.
I'll go ahead with the smartest.
Yeah. And I just want to be able to help people and, use my experiences, to, really just to make humanity better. If there's things that I could do in little ways to do that, I'll drop one more, line on you. I think one thing that I'd like to live by is an Aristotle quote, and it's where the needs of the world and your talents cross, there lies your vocation. So, something that you're good at, and if you can impact others in a positive way,
I agree.
That's your path right there. And so I'm trying to, listen to the big guy above and, follow this path and trust it and see where it leads me.
In closing this episode, what is some advice you would give somebody that's in your similar position, or just going through a major setback? What would be the advice you'd give that person?
Use pain. Use the pain that you're going through, and let it empower you. Don't let it take over you, because you can use that and flip it on it. You want to punch the devil in the face. Use your situation and your struggles to really push yourself and push positivity forward. It's not easy. Like I said, it took me 2 or 3 years just to get over the hump. And so if you're going through it, if you're going through hell, keep going.
Yes.
Just keep pushing, but don't try and do it alone. I couldn't do it myself. You got to reach out for help if you need, which many of us do. And it's always good to just have someone to vent to. Yeah. If you're going through things. And for me, just being stubborn Irishman that I am. Irish. I tried to do it myself and just, I got nowhere. And until I finally just submitted to my situation and addressed the things that I needed to, not that I wanted to. It's, it's that whole grieving process, the whole, stages of stuff. It's a tough thing, man. But once you embrace it, you can start making little changes and then having little victories, and you take those little victories and everything grows on itself, and you can, be the best version of yourself through dark times, man. So that's what we're finding, and I'm on my way.
This is why you're my hero. I'm just going to put that out there. I hope you guys really enjoyed Marty's story. Part 2 will be a little bit more of my story.
Can't wait to get into that.
And but we're excited to be doing this project. We hope you guys really got something from it. This is just the beginning. So, hold up, put your seatbelt on, because we're going to go for a wild ride.
Absolutely. And if you guys like what you're seeing here, please like, share, and subscribe our content. We really would love to just continue doing this for you guys. We want to help empower you. Anything you guys are curious about, reach out to us, and let's make it happen, man. So can't wait to see you guys next week.
Until then, I don't even know. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
Love you guys. Take it easy.